Okay, so today we're doing a tutorial on this hairstyle. Just kidding, that would imply that there was actually some effort put into my hair today, when in fact I slept on it for 8 hours, woke up, and instead of washing it decided that it looked kind of cute and sprayed some dry shampoo in instead. And that was basically it. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing an everyday makeup look. I know you all probably get tired of the crazy, colorful, bold eyes. So yeah, we're doing something a little bit more simple today. Simple does not mean that I will have it done in 10 minutes or under. I cannot film a mini haul of 3 items in under 10 minutes, much less put on my full face of makeup. But it is going to be a more easy, everyday, you can do it a little bit quicker than other things, makeup. But it's still going to be a full face of makeup. I do have makeup that I can do in under 5 minutes that basically looks like crap, and you're probably better off just going without it. But if you want to see that in the future, I would do that as well. But today we're just going to go with my everyday natural, not natural makeup. Oh, and I'm wearing my new shirt. It's so cute! Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is tape off my eyes like always. I still do this step just because it makes everything look cleaner and sharper. Even when you're doing natural eyeshadow, I just like the effect of it. And it takes 2 seconds, so it's not really that big of a step. You just put it on there and start your everyday makeup. If you hear a bunch of noise, that's my baby playing downstairs. I have the door open because he's like right under me playing with his toys in his playroom. But if I can't hear him, then I know that I need to check on him. So that's why you hear noise if you hear it at all. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is my brows, just to get them out of the way. I always do my brows. If I had to pick one thing to do if I was going out of the house, it would be my brows, just because they frame your face. And I don't know, I just think they're important, and I just don't feel like I look put together at all if I don't have my brows on. And so I'm just going to fill them in. I'm just using my e.l.f. pencil. I'm going in with my Anastasia dip brow, and I'm just going to do a little bit of detail work. Okay, so I'm going to start on my eyes, and to conceal them today I'm using the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Makeup Stick Conceal in your Natural, and I'm just going to rub that over my lids. And I'm just going to use my sponge and blend it out. I'm just going into my Maybelline Fit Me powder. You can use any powder that you like. And just going to powder this down. Okay, so for my eyeshadow today, I hope I'm in focus. I'm going to use the Graveyard Girl Swamp Queen palette by Tarte. I know that this was kind of hard to get your hands on, so you do not need this palette. To be honest, it's not my first choice in an everyday palette, because there's not, most of the shades have shimmer in them, so there's not like a really good like crease shade. But I don't know, I just kind of wanted to use it today. You can use whatever you want. My 2 top recommendations are the Chocolate Bar and the Natural Eyes by Too Faced. But like I said, I just kind of wanted to use this one today, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm just going to go into the shade Big Baby, which is this really light vanilla shade. I always do this no matter what look I'm doing. Just put a light matte. This is kind of like a satin, but it doesn't have any shimmer. Just make sure you don't have any shimmer. But just put a matte or shimmer, not shimmer, matte or satin vanilla shade down over your entire eye to make sure everything is set in place and you have a good base for blending. Okay, now I'm just going to take a fluffy blending brush, and I'm going into Natural Peaches, which is just a real pretty peach shade, and it is matte. So I'm just going to put that in my crease and like the transition area. And I do love this palette, and I love Bunny to death, and I would probably just about buy anything she came out with just because I would support her. But I do wish it had a transition shade, or like a darker, not transition shade, a darker crease shade that didn't have shimmer. Like Sippy Sippy, this brown, it has like glitter in it. If it didn't have that glitter, then that would really, really help, because I personally don't like a lot of glitter in my crease. I like that to be kind of matte and just deepened and defined. But anyway, I'm just building this shade up, going back and forth, blending. It's a very natural shade, so you don't have to really worry about it being too crazy. Okay, so now I'm going to go into Dogman, which is this really pretty like orange. It does have a little bit of shimmer in it, but not too much. And I'm just barely going to pick that up on a another blending brush, tapered blending brush. I'm going to knock off the excess, and I'm just barely, ever so slightly, going to add this to this outer corner just to deepen it up just a little. We're not taking it out too far. We're not taking it up too high. We're just basically leaving it right here in this corner. And then once the product is kind of off, the main product, you can kind of swish it around a little bit more just to make sure it's blended. But the initial color and pigment goes on that first few taps. Okay, and then I'm just going to do the same on this side. Okay, I'm building it up just a little bit more. And you want to make sure everything is blended. Okay, so now I'm going back into that first brush, taking it and just blending again in the same area and going over where that darker shade is to make sure everything is blended and seamless. That's the main thing about any eyeshadow look. It really doesn't matter what colors you use, or how crazy or bold you go, or how natural you go. If they're not blended, it's not going to look good. So you want everything to be not mushed together to where there's no definition, but you don't want any harshness. You want it to be very gradient and like shadowing more than you just took a crayon to your face. Okay, so now I'm going into the shade Sassy Bun, which is this really pretty glittery gold. I'm just picking some of that up on a flat like shader brush, and I'm going to spritz it with some setting spray because I want it to be intense as I can get it. And I'm just going to pat that to the lid. Now I'm going in to the shade hashtag SFS, which is just kind of a pinky champagne, kind of a satin shimmery shade. And I'm just going to put that in the inner corner a little bit just to make sure it's bright. And also on the brow bone. Okay, so I'm just going back in with that blending brush again, no extra product, and blending in the crease one more time to make sure that everything is, again, blended. Okay, so that's basically it for the eyeshadow. I am going to put on a little bit of eyeliner just because I like eyeliner. This is optional. You do not have to use eyeliner. You can just go with the eyeshadow. But I am going to go in with my Wet n Wild Pro Line Felt Tip eyeliner. And I'm not doing like a big intense wing or anything like that. I'm just drawing a very simple, thin line all the way across. And that's it. Okay, so I am going to take a pencil eyeliner. This one is a Ofra eyeliner in black, and I'm just going to do my tight line. Okay, Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put on my mascara and lashes. Now, what I do is I do half lashes, and what I buy are the Broadway Eyes Lightweight. This is a 3-pack, and the number is DLSM01, and this is what they look like. And I cut them in half because they, on each end it gets a little bit longer and then thinner in the middle, so when you cut it in half you can put it and it'll be long on each end. And this is what they end up looking like, and I use those as half lashes. And I wish it had, it don't have a name, just the number. My kids want to come upstairs. And so my baby was crying, so I had to take him some new toys. He's happy now. So I'm just going to put some glue on my lashes. One reason I like to use half lashes is because they're a lot easier to apply and to keep sturdy. I'm just not very good at it, so I do half lashes. Okay, I'm going to peel the tape up, and you can see it leaves a really nice sharp line, so it makes everything look in place and pretty. Oh, I got something in my eye. Okay, so I'm just going to use my Scandalize. I need to get a new one. This one's about dried up. But just applying a coat of that while my glue gets tacky. Some people don't put mascara on if they're wearing false lashes, but I highly recommend it, because if not, you can tell the difference between your lashes and the false ones. And if you have powder or anything like that on your lashes, it really shows up. If you hear that dinging, my child has a xylophone. Is that how you say it? Xylophone? I think so. Look at the ink on my arm. I don't know if you can see, but he was drawing and decided he wanted to draw on me, and I'm just now noticing that I forgot to wipe it off. Oh well. I'm not going to do my bottom lashes yet because I don't have my under eye done, so I will wait on that. But meanwhile, I'm just going to plop these into place. And get my mirror up here. Okay, just kind of put them where they go, let them dry and get tacky, and then I'll actually pinch them to my real lashes after they kind of sit there for a minute. So we're just going to leave them there, let them hang out. It adds some drama without being too much and without being so noticeable that they're fake. So I like it. Okay, so now we are going to move on to a face. And I'm just using my L'Oreal True Match Lumi, and I'm just going to drip some directly on my face. And blend it out. Just taking my sponge. Not using any kind of primer. I do have moisturizer on, but no kind of primer. I'm not a big primer person. Okay, so concealer. This is how I store my eyelashes, by the way. Very, very fancy. Okay, so I'm just using my Maybelline Master Conceal. Just putting a little bit under each eye. So I'm going to pat that out with my eye. This is why I don't do my mascara underneath first, because I would just mess it up. I have done that before on accident without realizing and messed it up before. So just blending this out a little bit with my hand just to get it spread. And then just going in with my sponge and dabbing to make sure there's no creases or cakiness, you know, all those ugly words that we don't like. So, you know how in my last video, literally my very last video that I did, the one before this, that I was talking about how I wanted another cat kinda, but didn't because I didn't need any more animals and blah 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 blah. Well, I got another animal. So, yeah. It's a dog. Her name is Disney. She looks like she is part beagle for sure. Maybe hound. She kind of looks like she's got Dalmatian in her, kind of. It might just be where she's spotted. I'm thinking that, but... come on. Hello. We've got company. Has he got a pen on him too? You just had a bath too. You just had a bath. No, you're not getting in my makeup. I'm not getting in my makeup. You want a brush? Right here, come down here. Mama give you a brush. Hold on, I'm not making you leave. Here, here. There's your brush. Here's your brush. Ooh, here's a good brush. Look, here you go. Yeah. Okay, so back to the dog. Definitely beagle or hound. Looks like she could have Dalmatian in her. Anyway, so my husband, I'm gonna powder now. I'm just using my Anastasia contour kit and using the matte vanilla shade. Gonna powder under my eyes. Okay, so my husband was at work and he works for a pipeline and he digs ditches and runs equipment and things like that. Well, he is working in a pretty congested area, like around a bunch of houses, and apparently at one of the houses nearby he saw a guy kicking the dog and telling it to get out of his house or get out of his yard or something like that. Basically, he was feeding the dog and then the dog hung around, which is what dogs do, especially puppies. And then his landlord wouldn't let him have dogs, so he was trying to get the dog to leave by kicking it because I guess his landlord was coming to see the house, or I don't know. His landlord was coming, so he was trying to get the dog to leave. So Rich felt sorry for the dog, of course, because, you know, we're animal people. That's how we are. He said the dog was at one point like tied up to a pole where it couldn't hardly move. It gnawed through the rope and then it was walking around. It was whining, trying to get like food and things like that. So he got the dog and the dog spent the day with him at work, like was sitting in his lap while he was running equipment and everything. He sends me a picture of the dog and says he's bringing it home. So now we have a dog. And she's really, really cute and really sweet. She's outside right now because she's not housebroken. So she's outside with my other dog. I do have a big fenced-in yard, so they're good. They have shade, water, food, all that outside. She will be an inside dog, in and out. Like they'll go outside to exercise and, you know, use the bathroom, things like that. But for the most part, she will be inside like my dog is now. But they are both outside. The weather's really nice. And she can't be, she can't currently be inside without supervision because she is not yet housebroke, and I want to have the least amount of accidents to clean up as possible. Okay, so now that I have my under eye powdered, I am going to finish up my eye makeup, and I want my under eye, my hair is falling and getting greasy as we speak. Anyway, I want my under eye to be bright, so I'm using the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk and just putting that in my waterline. Now I'm just going to take the color Natural Peaches on that fluffy brush I was using before, and we're just going to sweep that underneath. I'm taking my Maybelline Fit Me powder, what little bit's left of it. I'm trying to use it up. It's just about gone. But I'm just taking that on a fluffy brush and powdering my foundation. This is a very tacky foundation where it's luminous, so you do have to powder. Okay, so now I'm going back into my Anastasia kit and I'm using the middle shade. I think this one's called Fawn. Let me check and see. Yeah, Fawn. And I'm just going to take this domed, tapered, fluffy brush from Real Techniques and dip into that. Knock off excess. and just kind of barely go in with very little product. You can see it's not doing a ton, but it is adding a little bit of shadowing to my face, which is what I wanted. Not a harsh contour, just something really soft and natural. Because you know me, I'm soft and natural. Okay, now I'm going in with one of the True Beauty brushes and dipping into that same color. And I'm just running that down the sides of my nose to contour. And I don't hardly even do this to make my nose look different, but it looks really white after I've bronzed the rest of my face if I don't do this. So I'm going to take, I'm actually just going to take the same brush, and I'm going into my Tarte palette again, and I'm picking up just very little of the Sweet Tea bronzer and tapping that off like my life depends on it. Because I'm even going to like put the initial bit in my hand, and I'm going to use that to bronze just a little. And do the same thing. Now I'm just taking this small like angled thin brush. I'm using that to go into the Does This Thing Really Work blush, and it's perfect for this because it fits right in there. So that's why I like it, because if you use a very big brush, you're not going to get an even coat and you're liable to pick up the other things. But this is perfect, and it's a really soft brush too. I don't even know, this was like from the dollar store. I don't even know the brand or anything. It came in a set. My sister actually gave it to me. But I love this brush for blush. So that's what I'm doing. That's one reason why I wanted to use this palette, because it's just easy. Because it's got the blush, bronzer, highlight. So it makes the whole process of doing your makeup a lot simpler. And it is really pretty stuff. I love this blush. It's one of my favorites, and I don't use it often where it's in this palette, because I don't think to get this palette out just for the blush. But if I use the eyeshadow, then I am more likely to use the blush and highlight. And I don't use the highlight much because I love the highlight, and I know I'm going to be sad when it's gone. So I just dropped a bunch of brushes. Oh well. Anyway, I'm taking, this is actually a foundation brush. It's actually by the same brand, whatever this was. And I like this because it really packs the highlight on. And I'm going into Gator Wings, which is right there. And I'm just going to add that to the tops of the cheekbones. Now this is an intense, glittery, glowy highlight. If you don't like shimmer and glitter on your face, you will not like this. Me, it doesn't bother me a bit. I love it, and it makes me happy. So I'm going to set on my face with the Wet n Wild Photo Focus setting spray. Yeah, I really like this. Like I said, I don't like the smell, but the product itself is really good. Whew, smells like juice. Here you go. Alright, now I'm going to add mascara to my bottom lashes. Okay, so for my lips, I'm using the Wet n Wild Gel Lip Liner in Think Flamingos. And it's just this really pretty nude pink. And just gonna line our lips. Okay, now I'm going to put the Jordana Sweet Cream in Buttercream Frosting over top. Okay, so this is the completed look. I know what you're thinking, that's not very natural, but for me, this is a natural, everyday makeup look. If I don't have blue or green or orange or yellow or red or purple on my eyes, I consider it natural. So, natural looking eyes, nude lip, and yeah, that's basically it. So I hope you all enjoyed. I really like the way this turned out, and I think it's really pretty for the summer, and yeah, I like it. So I hope you all enjoyed it. Like, comment, and subscribe, And I will talk to y'all soon. Love you. Bye.